Borger, and even Zhao Long are. As we go into game one, I just wanted to briefly mention that that can sometimes be a hindrance to you if you have no other ways to start your Vanquish Soul engine.
Well, let's see what happens here, starting with a very exciting dice roll. We have had some crazy dice matches so far, but looks like
First or second? I'll start.
Nathan's going to start.
Proudly proclaims that starting, and he's going to open his hand of 5 cards. I'm really excited to see how this, you know, Crystron plus RB deck plays, because so many people are already confused by what the Crystron cards do, because while they all do the same thing, they also all do different things. It's really interesting.
Very nuanced difference. It's like a Crystal Beast deck, but almost always the same effects. But here we go. It's Field Spell time.
Oh my gosh, and that's the brand new field spell. I believe it's called Funk Dock.
Funk Dock.
And I believe that field spell does everything you need it to. It basically will get you another access to any other RB monster you might want, and that can give you the extension you need to just go into your main extra deck monsters, like the Link 2 or the Link 3.
Resolves.
Okay, so it's going to go ahead and resolve. So let's go ahead and grab something from the deck here.
Add to hand. RB Vulcan Rocket.
That is going to be Vulcan Rocket. I believe that is the... I want to say it's the pop. It's the ignition effect pop that can summon itself if you control another either RB or another machine monster.
Now, if I remember those beautiful commercials they did on the live stream, I think it was Valcan Rocket, but either or, you know, there's a bunch of different Yu-Gi-Oh names, but I love the idea of like these two competing companies trying to sell your machine the best parts.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, all of the main deck RB monsters can essentially equip themselves to your Link monsters by having their arrows point to them. And then they have various effects based on that happening, and they can all summon themselves if you control a RB card. I think it's the phrase, an RB card. There we see the normal summon of Smyger after the Foolos gets activated there from Brandon.
Grave can add, correct? I will banish it from grave to search a Crystron spell trap.
Yeah, so Smyger is the one that is, if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and search for a spell trap. Almost all the main deck monsters have an effect that when they're in the graveyard, you can banish them and do something else. All of the tuners have an effect that let you basically quick synchro or summon other monsters. And then all the level 4, or sorry, all the level 5 or higher can let you destroy your other Crystron cards.
Well, speaking of level 5, looks like Vanquish Soul Holly Suit is appearing here. Going to go ahead and try to special summon itself to the field, maybe try to get a little interaction before we get any further with this combo. And it's interesting too, you know, from Brandon's perspective, you have two decks that are a little bit kind of unknown. There's not a lot of Crystron players out there. They certainly have had some tops this year, like Steven Santoli with that beautiful Horus Crystron deck at YCS Providence. But this is not Horus, this is RB, so it's a totally different game plan.
And something that Crystron really has going for it is like, if your interaction with it involves like actual destruction effects, like Rosin or Caesar Valius, they kind of don't care because all their effects activate in the graveyard or they activate when they are destroyed. So it can be sometimes pretty difficult for some decks like even Vanquish Soul to interact with those cards.
Looks like we might be thinking about Link summoning here, or Synchro summoning, right? Math's not bad. You either have an 8-star Synchro or a Link 2 monster. And there actually is a pretty good one in RB.
Yeah, that's probably going to be what, RB Valkan Booster, right? The one that can search for, I think it's any spell card?
It is any spell card, so think about that. We've talked about how powerful a Link 1 that searches a field spell is. Check out a Link 2 that searches any spell at all.
It also lets you Link climb because you can summon back any RB monster as well.
It can search an RB spell trap. I'm choosing not to use it.
Oh, we're choosing not to use the Valkan Booster effect on summon. That kind of tells me, and I think the people at home too, that Nathan doesn't have any other RB spell cards in his deck.
Interesting. So just running the field spell and just trying to make a big punch, perhaps? We'll have to see.
There is a powerful spell card that lets you summon any Link monster you want for RB, but that does lock you into only 1,500 attack point or less machine monsters, and that's a little too low because you want to access your powerful Crystron engine in your extra deck.
Well, speaking of accessing decks, looks like we're going back into the main deck here and grabbing Crystron Inclusion.
Yeah, so basically that Valkan Booster has the ability to summon back the Valkan Rocket. But before we do any of that, let's go ahead and just use Smyger here, get Inclusion, then do the rest of the Crystron combo by getting Sulfador, summon Sulfador, get rid of your Inclusion, and then send more cards from your deck to the grave.
Impulse and Border to special from deck.
So we're revealing Fire and Dark for Holly Suit to summon from the deck. This is probably going to get the Rosin, so that way we can just get the Vulcan Booster out of here.
Well, also a little bit of information there, Brandon, also on the Rescue Ace Impulse, so I'm curious to know if he's going to be bringing out any other Rescue Ace cards. It's honestly just a good fire monster in and of itself with its ability to negate the highest attack monster on the field, or actually prevent it from activating its effect, excuse me.
Yeah, Nathan might have made a mistake earlier during the open game state to not activate the Valkan Booster's effect immediately to summon, because if you respond with Holly Suit to that, you wouldn't have time in the same chain to use Rosin, so he would still get the extra body, but now I don't think he'll be able to.
And we're going to keep going from here, so looks like our Vanquish Soul Nonsense is going to hit the field.
Oh, no, I know why he didn't do it, because that effect to Reborn also locks you into 1,500 attack or less.
Oh, machine, yeah, so
just like summon Sulfador, yeah.
Just like Crystron locks you into machines, it's true that RB effects do lock you into 1,500 attack or lower monsters, so that can be difficult to deal with.
No.
Ooh, and this is really heads up from Brandon here, getting rid of the Inclusion with his own effects. Yes, that still puts it in Nathan's graveyard, which will give him value later, but now he has no card to destroy to summon his Sulfador. He will get a lot of less value out of that.
Well, we'll see if he's able to make it out of this turn with anything established. And it always is interesting watching Vanquish Soul play because on your own turn, you know what they're playing and what may defeat you. But we're going to see triple tactics down here to draw 2 more cards, dig deeper in the deck.
That's pretty good. He needs some way to get another Crystron body in play that's not Inclusion, because he needs a way to get value out of this Sulfador. I believe he can just get rid of his own RB field spell, but
I'd like to concede.
No, but yeah, I think you have to destroy Crystron card with Sulfador, so he just has no way to continue playing, essentially.
So unfortunately, RB did not get to make a large punch there with its giant RB monsters, so Brandon is going to be the winner of this duel.
Yeah. So really awkward there for Nathan that Brandon's interactions was able to be timed perfectly just to stymie him to the point where he had no way to continue comboing using his Crystron cards, and he already used up the most powerful of his RB effects.
So briefly, I want to talk about RB, the Brute Blues. It hasn't appeared on field yet, but it's likely relevant because it is this monster we're talking about. It is a Link 3. Of course, it has 1,500 attack, and it's 2+ machine monsters, which the whole Crystron deck is full of. But again, just like you said, it does gain that attack equal to the total attack of RB monsters it points to. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, and it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, which, like Vanquish Soul's game plan, it does involve a lot of destruction cards. But if you never get there, then your deck is effectively a Crystron deck with some additional machine inclusion. So Nathan's going to have to consider his side deck options here. I wonder if he's going to go first after all.
Yeah, and I think what Nathan was trying to go for there by saving the Valken booster to the very end was once he does his full Crystron combo, he can just go Valken booster, get Brute Blues, and then also end on that. Get potentially a Spell Trap Destruction, a Monster Negate, some extra forms of pop thanks to Crystron Cluster being in rotation because that's also done during the full Crystron combo. But he just got stymied to the point where he just couldn't keep playing.
Yeah, and it's one of the things both of these duels obviously got here with their 5-0 record by showing off their best cards, so we'll see if we can get a peek at that Brute Blues. I really do want to see RB, get the job done. But at the same time, Brandon is trying to punch that ticket to parity. He's trying to get to the World Championship just like anybody else, and Vanquish Soul seems to be a strong pick so far as well.
Yeah, and notice, by the way, Brandon did not have a turn. Like, he did not make Nathan concede during his turn. He made Nathan concede during Nathan's turn.
Which is really different. Like, most of the time you see at least a 2-turn duel. Now everything is resolved in that first turn because you kind of know what's going on. You know you're stymied, and you don't even necessarily want to show too many cards, but here Nathan really had to showcase everything he was playing, get to that locked choke point and just say, nah, I'm not going to make it through the next turn.
And he just knew how much advantage that one Holly Sue was going to generate for Brandon, and he's like, I don't need to sit here and watch you add 4 monsters to your hand and then attack me for lethal. I'm just going to move on to the next game.
It certainly conserves as much time on the clock as possible, which can be advantageous for Vanquish Soul players because they do have the ability to deal effect damage whenever they want.
And just summon big giant monsters.
Well,
really
and big giant monsters. Yeah, battle damage is the thing too.
He already had Caesar Valius in play. Plus Holly Sue coming back on the following turn. Like, it was rough there for your boy Nathan, and he recognized it, and he wants as much time as possible to keep going. And we saw that be really advantageous for people yesterday during the WQP. People like James being like, I'm just going to concede, make sure that I'm not just going to sit here watching my opponent play as they beat me. I want to stay in my rhythm, get back to my next game, and try to adapt as we go.
If I remember correctly, one of the things that James said, one of our World Championship representatives, so you know he's a good duelist, he said, I don't want to lose my rhythm. I would rather start playing again and keep going.
You played 3 shifter because you didn't really have a good win concept.
Especially if you win that game that you concede right after, because then you're in there and now your opponent has to respond to you, so who cares if they get to go first now? You're already ahead in terms of the current state of the game, the tempo.
Definitely want to keep that rhythm up, but Nathan is going to go first this time, so looks like before we know it, we are going to see if he can perform this combo successfully. But there's so many points of interaction in Brandon's Vanquish Soul deck. It's just so common to see some of the best cards in the game, right? Fire, Dark, Earth. So we'll see if he stymies Nathan again out of his RB matchup.
But both duelists seem raring and willing to go. Let's go into game 2 and see who can come out on top this time. Will it be Nathan? Will it be Brandon? Tune in to find out.
All right, Vanquish Soul fans, a new challenger appears, so Nathan is going to give it his best.
Last time we started with the RB cards. This time will we start with the Crystron cards? Now we got Perulia. Perulia probably a little less impactful than Fuelos, but the RB monsters all summon themselves from the hand, so that could be a little awkward. And of course your normal summon will matter, but... And maybe Soul Filter. Actually, you know what? There's a lot of summoning from the hand. Never mind. That Perulia is pretty annoying.
It's pretty good. And now Crystron, again, you don't see it all the time because I feel like it was caught in the crossfire of a lot of different side deck tech options, such as Artifact Lancia, which was the #1 card played at YCS Orlando.
Sure.
And that kind of stops a lot of the ability to banish. So I wonder if the RB actually helps because you're not doing as much banishment there, and it kind of offsets that so you don't just immediately lose to Artifact Lancia resolving.
That's a very good point. But here we're starting off with normal summon Tristaros, activate Foolish Burial. That's awesome to see because essentially if you try to respond to that, now we can Tristaros and get a free body no matter what, which is pretty awesome. We're sending Solfafnir to the yard, trying to maybe summon it back by getting rid of one of our other Crystron cards and then summon some more tuners.
Going to straighten things out here. We are still in tournament play there, but it looks like a much stronger start for Nathan here as he's able to just get multiple Crystrons to the graveyard. Again, activating all those effects, and again, retaining a Crystron in the graveyard too, just in case it's needed.
Yep, so here we see Solfafnir discarding the Soul Door, summoning itself, and then destroying itself.
Or to special summon a Crystron from deck.
That'll now allow him to special summon a Crystron from the deck, because it was destroyed via a Crystron card effect.
Now, I did catch it Brandon's hand in Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, but he didn't decide to use it here, so maybe he's worried about something else. I'm not sure if it's on the RB or the Crystron side.
It's the Tristaros, right? Because if you activate that Ash Blossom, Tristaros will let him summon any Crystron from the deck.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Because he's activating a card effect.
Well, at some point you can't just watch your opponent play. You may have to be brave, or you might just hold on to the Ash Blossom for revealing on your own turn, but well, let's see how we get now.
Now we're going to get Smyger. I do love the heads-up play from Nathan to discard his Sulfador because he knows that summoning that from the hand will just give too much advantage to Brandon via that Perulia. He doesn't really necessarily need to summon from the hand anymore besides maybe one RB card. if he wants to.
And it looks like we're getting the SP Little Knight.
Sulfador from graveyard.
Little disruption, but we're going to activate the effect of Sulfador from graveyard, destroying the Crystron inclusion. And now from the grave, here comes the Sulfador back.
Yep.
Sulfador effect.
And this will give us
Two,
access
full
to things like the cluster in our graveyard, and maybe we can get like the Sturvin, get another monster added to our hand, but not sure if that's going to be too much value here. We could send Citree to the graveyard, get that in rotation, maybe summon it back later off a different effect.
You were right about the Ash Blossom timing. This seems like a much stronger use of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring because, again, you're also not playing the Crystron Drestaros.
Right, because now it's not in play because you use it to summon the SP. But now we got Smiger, and now Smiger's going to be able to get the Crystron cluster just added straight to hand, but without a Synchro monster, we won't be able to get that double pop that you normally get access to.
Cluster.
But we will
And
have
that
SP.
only pops one if you don't control a synchro.
If I don't control Crystron Synchro. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It has to be a Crystron Synchro specifically. That is important.
Love that Nathan was very clear there. It's so important to just not answer your opponent's question, but clearly state the card effects. So good sportsmanship and good following the tournament policy guidelines.
Yep, but thanks to the inclusion being banished here, we will be able to get that Tristaros back and Synchro summon the old faithful Eleskeletus.
Target the Smiger.
And then we get the
Or
Smiger from our banish because you can add back
You
from
can add
graveyard
from
or
graveyard or
banish.
banish.
Yeah, graveyard or banish.
Yeah, Crystron Eleskeletus is pretty cool. It also blanket reduces all your opponent's monsters by 500 attack and defense. And then if it's into the graveyard, you can summon Crystron monster from your graveyard or banished. It's a pretty good card.
Now, speaking of good cards, I think I saw too many of them in Brandon's hand. I saw another Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring and what appears to be the Rescue Ace Impulse he's activating now. There might be a Vanquish Soul start, but this is not going to be a Vanquish Soul heavy turn.
But we will see the value of that fire attacker that we saw some Vanquish Soul decks playing because it basically gives you access to another fire and can give you some extra draws to dig into your other pieces because you need other attributes and you need sometimes specific cards like Holly Sue, and just increasing your overall consistency is pretty cool.
Yeah. I will attempt fire attacker effect since a card was added to your hand to draw 2, discard 1.
Yep, that does trigger because it's
Perfect
already in
timing.
play by the time the first effect resolves. And then let's see if we get anything fun there. I think I saw a Fua, which will no longer work, so that's a pretty good discard here. Depends on what other cards we have in hand. Yeah, something like Fua is not on attribute, so getting rid of it seems like pretty easy to do in a Vanquish Soul deck. I think I saw another Ash Blossom, like you said, plus Staker Soul and Holly Sue, but no Vanquish Soul names.
Ooh, so getting part of the puzzle, but not all of it.
Destroy Synchro monster I control, summon 2.
Yep, so now we're activating the effect of Stars in the graveyard banishing to destroy Synchro monster, and then we can special summon 2 Crystron monsters from our deck. That will then trigger Eleskeletus on a different chain. This is just everything you want to be doing. This might be when he starts maybe going for the RB lines, but because he has the SP already in his extra monster zone, he's kind of not going to be link summoning ever again.
One off of the Fuulos here.
He didn't activate Fuulos.
He activated Purulia.
He activated
Specials 2 simultaneous.
So he activated Peruli, he did not activate
Yeah, we're
Fua.
double checking there. Like, hey, friend.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's in the graveyard. It's in the graveyard. He's like, how else would that be in the graveyard?
Yeah.
Discarded it.
It's been a long day for every duelist. Give him a break there, but that does mean good things for Nathan. He is not causing his opponent to draw and playing very carefully to make sure that doesn't happen.
So here we have Eleskeletus bringing back the Sulfador, and now we have Sulfepnir, Sulfador, and Tristaros, which means during Brandon's turn we have the potential to do a lot of really scary stuff with that Tristaros, but we're going to do something really fun here, and we're going to overlay 2 level 5 monsters.
The materials are too... Oh,
Cyber
wow.
Dragon Nova, baby!
Are we going into Cyber Dragon? Yes, we are, Infinity.
Of course we are, and I believe, is that a monster on Brandon's board that we can just eat up if we wanted to?
But I think it's not an attack position.
Oh,
That's
you're
the
totally
only
right.
way you're able to
You're
suck
so
it up.
right. You're so right. I forgot. Infinity's not that good.
I only drew. I didn't.
I mean, it is that good. It's just not that good.
So we know we have Cluster, and fun fact, even though Cluster right now doesn't have a Synchro monster to use, if Brandon activates any card effect, he'll have that Synchro
Stay on
monster.
my face.
Yep.
Well, you got to activate a card effect. Just want to pass turn.
I mean, this is a pretty scary board. We have potentially a double pop, potentially a Synchro monster, and an SP Little Knight, and an Infinity.
I'm seeing how Nathan made it this far with this particular deck. Obviously, Brandon Vanquish Soul, it's a good deck. People know that it is reliable, but this is
Activate
really
Staker Soul,
showcasing something
reveal Ash
different.
Blossom.
Activate Staker Soul, reveal Ash Blossom. This is a pretty
Specials one with
good,
the same
juicy
attribute
Infinity
for a Vanquish
target.
Soul monster, but a different name.
Basically, if you have the read that your opponent doesn't have Rosin, this guarantees Rosin for them, and that's like everything you need.
I'll negate that.
Okay, we're going to negate the activation, attaching the material there.
We are going to negate with Infinity, but I think I saw Brandon draw Triple Tactics Talent for turn.
Oh,
so
no.
this
Well-
Infinity being used early might bite Nathan in the butt.
Triple Tactics Talent's done some crazy stuff this tournament, and here
There
it
it
comes.
is!
Counts, I will choose the effect to draw 2.
Drawing 2 though. Not it's because he has no other Vanquish Souls in hand, so
Yeah.
that start that he has in hand is not a starter. He does have Holly Sue, but no other names. So that Staker Soul is actually a really important card.
I think we're about to synchro summon, but there's the Ash Blossom.
On the Tristaros.
That results.
Okay.
All right, these 2 cards are going to be pretty important. We still have
See
a
what we
pop
get.
and an SP.
I think I saw another Molcharmy,
That's not going to do it.
and
that
I think a
Impulse?
Rescue Ace Impulse. Yeah, no
Ooh.
names at all.
This can happen in the pure version of Vanquish Soul, where essentially all you have are a lot of the wrong attribute, too many names, or no names.
I know, he keeps tapping that deck saying assist me, and unfortunately the assisting cards are not coming in.
I mean, he still would have to play through an SP and a cluster and whatever the unknown set card is. That's still a lot, even for Vanquish Soul to do on your own turn, because proactively there's not much there for you to do. But we're going to switch Fire Attacker to attack mode. I believe it's 2500 attack, right?
I think 2200, but it being in attack mode is kind of dangerous because, again, Cyber Dragon Infinity can absorb that.
But we're probably just going to attack SP and then go cluster, get rid of it so we don't lose our SP. But that could be a big bait to maybe turn on that Fua that we apparently know Brandon has in hand.
Oh, yeah, he did have that. So I guess maybe we're trying to stop additional special summons. But here comes the Crystron cluster.
But at this point, like, we don't need to special summon that many more monsters if we're Nathan to get the damage we need.
Nothing in response.
Yep, so we'll target, and then we'll shuffle back. And because we've successfully done that first part, the fire attacker will now be destroyed.
So certainly difficult on Brandon. Said he had a great game 1 without having to even enter his own turn, but this time not so lucky.
Yeah, this is a pretty awkward situation, having no Vanquish Soul names.
Sorry. Of course I have it.
I would like to concede.
Oh,
okay.
Brandon is not even going to play, and that's because the Infinity's there. If he goes Fua, you just go Infinity on your turn, it's not going to work.
So nothing's happening there. He knows that it is over. So we got ourselves a match again. We are going to game 3 as Nathan is our game 2 winner.
But this time, Brandon will get to actually go first and not just play on his opponent's first turn.
That is true. That is true. It's Vanquish Soul is just such an interesting deck because, tier limits, we talked about our turn, but, most of it was like, okay, I'm going to play a little on your turn and then do more on my own. I feel like Vanquish Soul can get it done without even having to pass to your turn at all.
Yeah, and that was a really heads-up play, like you mentioned, from Brandon, just saving those Ash Blossoms to not play into a Tristaros and then forcing the Solfador to kind of stop because Nathan would have had so much more stuff. It's not even funny how much more stuff he would have had if he was able to get that extra Synchro Summon.
I know we talked about Open Mic Night, but both of these duelists, they would be great representatives for our World Championship, so we'll see who is able to advance out of this and get closer to those coveted spots.
Oh, he had 2 Ashes, actually. Yeah, that Solfador would have been crazy, too. So this will be super nice to see. Congrats to Nathan on taking that game, too. Like I said, keeping his rhythm was the best call for him, and now he's putting Brandon on the back foot when originally Brandon felt like on top of the world, right?
Yeah.
No, now it's going to be a bit more of a challenge. That game 3 is going to be super huge. And what's really tough is, unless you're specifically citing Artifact Lancia, I don't really know what other cards interact with the Crystron cards that well, because a lot of them come back, a lot of them have effects when they get destroyed, and almost all of them sort of lead into this sort of grind game-like state where most of the time when you have non-engine, that's the state you are trying to force. You're trying to force a more even game. But Crystron loves that game, because if you give them one extra turn, they're just going to get all their advantage back anyway.
Well, here's the sort of shuffling conundrum. If Brandon did have Artifact Lancia and added it to his deck, does he take some of the options out that help him that are otherwise interactions from the hand? And if he does, now he has less attributes, because unfortunately, there ain't no light monsters for Vanquish Soul.
No, there is not. But usually in the pure versions of Vanquish Soul, you have the luxury of playing like 3 to 6 off attribute cards already in your main, and then citing into new ones isn't the worst thing as long as you are particular about what cards you're adding. So as long as you're not taking away too many monsters, maybe you can get rid of spells and traps that aren't going to be as useful.
That could be the call.
Like if you know you're going second, Snow Devil becomes a lot worse, for example. So you just take that out, and because you're taking that out, you can take out things like Mad Love or even Continue because they're just not nearly as good.
Well, Brandon muttering to himself, all-important game 3. Nathan just kind of giving a smile and nod, but both duels locked in.
And I will say going second's a lot harder for Crystron to do, even though, if you interact with them, they might actually turn on the effects rather than turn them off. We know the level of interactions Vanquish Soul can have on turn 0, let alone on turn 1.
Absolutely.
So if I'm Nathan, I'm going to be hoping to draw a more non-engine heavy hand than an engine heavy one, because playing into the board is maybe a bit more unreliable.
Well, it looks like Nathan again is just kind of locked it out. I love the duel saying, what is round, what 6? Because we've been here for quite a bit, and we will still have 3 beautiful rounds of Swiss after this. But we talked about this at the YCSs, but just like the NAWCQ, this is the marathon of marathons, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you are here on Friday, you're having fun with your friends, you're going and you're trading cards. But then all of a sudden you have to realize you've got 9 rounds of Swiss on day 1, and then another 3 rounds of Swiss on day 2 to get to the coveted top 64 and get those prize packs.
Which mile marker are you looking at in this marathon? That's what you're chasing. And today that mile marker is, like you said earlier, 19 points.
19
right now they're at
points.
15. Winning this would give them 18. That's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely is. Got to keep a leveled head here, though. Even if you win, either of these duelists is going to have to go on and preserve their record. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and game 3, final round. Here we go.
We got plenty of time on the clock.
I'll choose first.
Brandon on the left. Sorry, Brandon on the right. Nathan on the left. Brandon is proudly proclaimed he's going first for this all-important game. He said so himself, and I saw some cards being drawn by these duelists. Holy snap.
And that final round was just a joke, by the way, because we still got plenty of rounds left to go. But starting off with the Mulcharmi, Purulia is pretty good.
That's a big
clap
one.
from the crowd on that one.
He did it to him last game. It's only
Hey,
fair, right?
fair is fair in Love of War and duel monsters.
So we're starting off with Pot of Prosperity. That's another thing that we haven't really talked about with the Vanquish Soul deck is that your extra deck kind of doesn't matter. So like there's some funny stuff in a lot of Vanquish Soul decks, and so being able to play things like Pot of Prosperity or Pot of Extravagance I've seen is really useful for just adding to your overall consistency, which is, like I said, this deck's probably only struggle.
Can definitely see a Pot of Extravagance build where it's like 3 Rock of the Vanquisher, 3 Vanquish Soul Rocks, etc. But looks like we are going for the Prosperity here, just trying to pick out the right targets. Banish those 6 face down. We got an Ash Blossom or anything like that. Got a quick peek over the shoulder there.
Results? Yep.
All right, let's reveal these 6 cards.
All right,
Fire
so
Attacker, Mad Love, Rosin, Mad Love again, Ash Blossom, and Ash Blossom. We have non-engine and some engine.
I'm really thinking about it.
He might take the Fire Attacker, he said. That's funny.
Oh, we might do it.
It's not a bad card. It's a fire attribute, but so are other cards there. I mean, it's got to be Rosin if you don't already have it. If you do have it, that means you're taking something else. Mad Love maybe isn't better than Rosin by itself.
Thinking about that Razan. I do see a Droll and Lockbird in the hand on Brandon's side, so he may be able to weather the storm of the RBs on Nathan's.
Droll and Lockbird is one of my favorite pieces of non-engine in this format because it's the only one that works going first or going second. So like you can build your board and droll your opponent, or you can have nothing and droll your opponent. The charmies only work if you have nothing.
Exactly, but did go ahead and add. Let's see what the next play is. Oh, Droll and Lockbird, speaking of which.
But because we added... Now, he is technically drolling himself as well because he did activate Perulia, and so now he won't be able to draw off that anymore. But he's like, if you added Razan, you might want to add some more cards too. So now you can't do that.
From doing really anything.
Yes.
It is interesting to think though, like if you're Nathan, like how confident are you that your opponent's gonna like pop off?
Sure.
So we're just gonna normal summon, then we're gonna go straight into a Link summon here, into Rock.
Effect add back.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna add back from the graveyard to our hand just to keep the flow of resources going and have access to the Razan on the next turn.
Sure. Pass turn.
So we don't know any attributes besides the Razan. So this Razan being summoned during his turn might be rough, but we can always add the next one. It's during the main phase
It's
specifically.
only during the main phase for the effects.
Me and Brandon were thinking the same thing. I'm like, what are you wondering? If you do it now, it won't do anything. If you do it later, maybe it does something. Oh, I think I just saw an imp from Nathan's hand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh my god, is that Lightning Storm too? Oh, wow. We've got it all, baby.
Some choices to make. Now, Lightning Storm does make perfect sense in an RB deck because, again, clear out all the spells and traps and then get to work.
There it is. Now, we are going to let him use the Rock. That is interesting.
Okay, but
we got rid of a Solemn Strike.
Worth. 100% worth.
Yes. Good sequencing there from Nate.
Normal summon Smiger.
Normal summon Smiger. Smart to do it in the column that Rock is in because then if he Rosin's over there, he'll also get rid of his own Rock. He targets all monsters in the same column, not just your opponents.
Would you like to use the effect?
Use the effect of Clockwork Knight.
Awesome.
Oh, Artifact Lancia.
Lancia. That was the other card that was in his hand.
We talked about how Crystron gets caught in the crossfire. Artifact Lancia, a very powerful card against Malice, which is a very popular strategy. #1 side deck choice, sometimes main decked in YCS Orlando. So this is really going to stymie Nathan's Crystron plays.
This is a non-engine game if I've ever seen it, man. We've seen more non-engine than anything else.
End of main, activate, special from hand.
Ooh, we're trying to leave the main phase, and then we're going to use the Rock effect to special the Razan, and because we added a monster to a different column, this will get a lot of value for Brandon here. This might get the Holly Sue. Or Mad Love to keep playing on his next turn. That's pretty smart too.
Well, it looks like the doctor is in, making house calls to our featured match table.
Oh, and we know he has an Ash Blossom, right? Or no, we know he has. Does he have a fire attribute that we know about?
I see a Droll and Lockbird, but I can't see the fire attribute. There are multiple monsters though in the hand trying to peek over his shoulder here.
He might not have the ability of Razan then to actually blow up the column.
End of main.
End of main, activate, target. Yep.
Oh,
Ooh.
Caesar Valius, okay.
So now we know he has Fire Dark, and now a Caesar in
Would you
play.
like to do anything else in end of main? No.
And now we can reuse Razan on his turn too.
You cut this.
And use Mad Love thanks to the Rock. Oh, the advantage engine of Vanquish Soul has been turned on. All this non-engine bought Brandon the time he needs to start really playing his game, and it's stymied Nathan.
Stay by phase?
Let's see what happens.
Main phase.
Sure.
Effect is special.
The sun may be getting real low on Nathan for just this game. Again, he has a spotless tournament record, so this won't throw him out of contention, but every win counts. Taking a look at that face down card as he spins the other in his hand.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's good.
Yeah, this is a really tough spot here because essentially it's hard to tell what attributes Brandon has access to. You know he has Fire and Dark, and if he just has Earth, this Caesar Valius can just start tearing apart Nathan's entire career. And so that set card, whatever it is probably not even safe. So using it earlier might be better than waiting. But this start is threatening to get Holly Sue, or threatening to get Jiaolong, or threatening to get basically all the free Vanquish Soul monsters.
Well, we have reached the Vanquish Soul start, so start to pin the board there. Going from location to location, attribute to attribute. What are we going to reveal here?
Jonathan Francis Warner. Jonathan Francis
If you're Nathan, that start is pretty threatening, but I don't know how powerful it is, you know, because you're already sharing down some of those powerful cards in the Vanquish Soul archetype.
Doesn't make it worse, doesn't make it better, but
No, you're fine.
big think here, we say. Big think.
I mean, I imagine Brandon trying to calculate if he can even go for lethal, because while Vanquish Soul can generate a lot of damage, it can't summon a lot of monsters, all powerful ones in a single turn without having like a big hand already. But there's probably a world where he can deal a lot of damage this turn, and then through Borger Burn this turn, Borger Burn on his opponent's next turn, that would be enough damage to win the game. So he's probably just doing some math here as he gets that Borger by targeting his Valius with the field spell.
Dark to dark, dust to dust. Looks like we may be doing 1,500 points of effect damage later, but right now we're going to go ahead and target.
Yep,
Bounce it back, and here comes Borger.
We still have Fire Dark, and we still have a regular normal summon for hand.
Because I'm going to activate revealing Mad Love the draw card.
Ooh, we're just drawing with Borger here. Okay, so we're going for the advantage route, not the damage route. Ooh, and that was a Stake Your Soul draw. That is huge.
That is destiny if I ever saw it. So Stake Your Soul, of course, given the ability to get a little bit more in the Vanquish Soul tank. Seems like he's pausing here. Not sure if he wants to go in further.
I mean, the problem is like his only fire in hand might be Razan, and so if he normal summons Razan to get his Earth, he'll never be able to activate Caesar Valius. So there's probably a world where he should have gotten another fire off of the start rather than the Borger. But it now just depends on like how he wants to go about summoning Razan. If it's via normal summon, or if he's summoning something else via Stake Your Soul.
Well, we're not about to chip this one out because we still got 15 minutes left on the clock, but it does seem like that Stake Your Soul's coming down.
Stake, reveal, raise. Brazen.
Okay, so he's revealing Rosin. Now, Rosin cannot be summoned here because he's revealing Rosin to do so, but he can summon Xiaolong, which would be pretty huge, both in attack points and in some fun things it can do.
Changing battle positions may be helpful when you're trying to go for game here, although not relevant with the Link monster on the field. It is stuck in attack position.
But now if he has access to another fire, he can start searching for even more Vanquish Soul cards. That's like the really big thing, I think. Because what he can do is he can go like Rosin, search for another Xiaolong just to have a fire in hand, and then he can go like use Rock the Vanquisher to make Vanquish Soul rocks. Oh, you know what? No, because he still has Mad Love in hand, so he can go Holy Sue summon.
Reveal.
Yeah. I like this. I like this a lot.
All right, we'll deck the halls with Holly Sue. She has come down, and that is a full Vanquish Soul field.
Oh my gosh, we're going for a break 5 play. Please say it's Nash Knight. Please say it's Nash Knight.
It's Nash Knight.
Yes! Oh, this is a really fun tech you can do in this deck because it essentially
it's
unlocks
gonna be here for
a bunch of
Vanquish
other
Soul
really for...
I love that they're just like, what is that? It's going to be here for a while. You heard him.
That was funny.
Take a 101 to 104 monster, attach it, and then I can suck up. It's like an honor arc as well.
Yeah, so this is a really good explanation of the card. Basically, by detaching 2, he can go into a new Xyz monster from his extra deck. That's 101 to 104. He's going to go for Masquerade. By sucking it up, he then gets to take one of his opponent's monsters. And now, if he wants to, he can also go into another rank. And because he has the 104 already underneath, if he goes for Umbra Horror Masquerade.
Oh, wow. And it has it as Xyz material. What?
Yeah, so now he's going for Chaos Xyz Nash Knight, which will now let him go into, I believe, Chaos Umbra Horror Masquerade.
Activate, target this to pop it.
Yeah, and that's the C104 with 104 attached.
And it was Imperm. It's going to be popped here. And now I believe that also...
Some battle phase.
Now we're going straight to battle phase.
18.
Plus 3K, 48,
25.
63, 73, and then
That's
Umbra Horror
game.
Masquerade. That was awesome to see. The Nash Knight combo? Nice.
Yeah, KO there. Brandon taking it. Vanquish Soul fans continue. And good looking out to the future. We know that he's got his deck built for the
funny.
foreseeable future there. So were you just like out of your head here because not only was it Vanquish Soul